you know what, Leel? Let me just say something about the huddle really quick. When you in a huddle, usually it's just the quarterback, one player calling the plays. We got multiple quarterbacks in this huddle, and we calling all sorts of different plays.
Exactly.
Hey, the word of the day, man, is respect. If you don't got respect, you don't have nothing in this game, man. Respect, you can't buy it. I can't assign you respect. You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it. You want your name on the back of this jersey to mean something, you gotta earn that respect. You want these colors, these jerseys to mean something, you gotta earn that respect. Snap in, snap down. Every single time you step on this field, man.
Central New York, we are back.
Ladies and gents, we are finally on the air after some short technical difficulties. I'm Kenny C. Aside me is the real Leel, and this is the Huddle. We are finally back. After a rather slow week of sports, we still have a great show in store for everybody out there. Central New Yorkers, live stream listeners. It is 8:07 p.m., and this is Cortland, New York. Leel, let's get down to this.
I mean, it's time to get this show on the road. I mean, sorry for the, the technical difficulties. Everything just has been acting up. I mean, we need to invest into this radio station,
That's what I'm saying.
We need to put the money where the setup is, because we got the $1 million show right here in the Huddle, and we need that $1 million radio station. You know what I'm saying? Because it can't happen. You know what I'm saying?
We have the second highest budget as a club on campus. So with all that money, we have to start revamping this stuff.
We got to revamp. Alumni.
We need air conditioning in this booth.
We need air conditioning because I'm over here burning. It's getting hot, okay? Nelly just walked up in here. All right, but I ain't going to take off on my clothes because I don't go that route. You know what I'm saying? But it's hot. I'm sweating. All right? The station has been acting up, but guess what? We're here, and it's time to get in the huddle and talk some New York sports to start off this hour. The Mets and the Yankees, ladies and gentlemen.
Leel, the New York Mets. Besides today, the Mets have been on a tear as of late. They've been off to a great start this season. They have a 5-2 record, second place in the NL East, behind the red-hot Phillies, who are 4-1. And really, Leel, the biggest thing thus far has been the Mets' ability to swing the bats. 5+ runs in their past 5 straight games. Besides today, one game they beat the Nationals 11-8. So it's a great sign for Mets fans because with that bullpen that they have and how good DeGrom has been, the Mets needed to get those bats swinging, and they have. Besides today, they lost 4-0 against the Nationals. Noah Syndergaard pitched for the Mets 6 innings, 6 strikeouts, and gave up 2 runs. Only a hit, but the Mets overall couldn't get their bats swinging. As Steven Strasburg for the Nats had a solid game, 6.2 innings, 9 strikeouts, and only 3 hits. But other than that, the Mets have been on fire, Leel.
The Mets have been on fire, and the devil is a liar. I mean, let's think about it. All right, Jacob DeGrom. We already know. We talked about him. He got paid. I believe it was $137 million.
Yes, sir.
5 years on the deal, and a lot of Mets fans were happy, and there's a reason why. Obviously, he had a good season last year, and he's showing that he is deserving of that contract that this brother got. I believe it was yesterday. Career high 14 strikeouts, no runs. All right, he is the best pitcher in baseball, at least in the conversation. It might be the best pitcher in baseball. So, he even had a solo home run yesterday. So the brother is showing you that he can do it all.
Yeah, he can do both sides, Lil. And along with that other night game, he tied legend pitcher Bob Gibson's record of 26 straight quality starts. So nothing short of amazing for the Amazons in New York. DeGrom has definitely been solid for them. Clearly their number one guy, and like you said, one of the best in the league. And there is actually rumors that reportedly that the Mets are trying to get all-star pitcher Dallas Keuchel, who was on the Houston Astros last year.
That too.
We all know what that man can do. So if the Mets can get him and add to their bullpen even more, they're going to be the definition of lethal.
Oh, yeah, they're going to be lethal. But the only thing is, yes, as a Met fan, being in Queens, Bronx Expressway that connects the bridge to Queens, the weather is starting to get nice down south. Down in the city. You know, it's almost that time you could just feel it. You know, be
That's
happy
true.
as a Mets fan right now. We just like glorify. Yes, we can go to Citi Field, that beautiful field that they got that I've been to a couple times.
Great stadium.
Great stadium. You just get that feel like what a time to be a Mets fan. But I will say this: we all know what happened last year. They started off 11-1, and we had that kind of feeling back then when they were 11-1, and what happened? They were terrible. They didn't even have. They wasn't even 500. They was way below 500.
162 games in a season. You have to be consistent, and you know.
I mean, the
obviously-
injury bug hit them.
Oh, that definitely was a big.
that was a
impact.
big factor.
That was big.
So I do feel like this Mets team is a different team than what it was last year, and I do believe that they are going to, you know, I don't want to talk too fast, but I do believe that this is a team worthy of making a run in the MLB.
It's
in
true.
The playoffs.
I mean, while it is very early,
Especially if Jacob deGrom is pitching like this.
that's
Because
true.
we know what's the most important thing in the play. Obviously, the whole team
No, the
gotta,
whole bullpen has to
they gotta
perform.
perform. But if they can, and they can get some production from these other guys, Jacob deGrom, I mean, with his pitching is very important in winning the championship.
Of course, Lil, and that's why I was saying if they can get Keuchel into that rotation, Steven Matz, he has his off games and then he has his great games. But if you have a guy like Keuchel and you throw him in the rotation, even with Matz having a so-so, you know, game every now and then, Keuchel is most likely going to be consistent every game. He's going to be that one of those guaranteed starters for you. So just with having Matz, deGrom, or Keuchel, deGrom, and Syndergaard just as a top three, and then you have Zach Wheeler coming in, that'd be a great bullpen to watch.
And the Mets, they had their season opener at home today.
Yes, sir.
And they lost to the Nationals 4-0. They fall to 5-2. But you know, they getting warmed up. You know what I'm saying? It's their first home game, but I expect them to be better than what they showed today.
Another positive for the New York Mets as well is they recently, before the season started, they announced that they were going to bring up their rookie Pete Alonso, who's a first baseman, and he has been all that the Mets could have hoped for. He has 7 RBIs, a home run, and a .409 batting average before today's game. So thus far, he leads his team in stats. He's been solid at first base defensively. So a lot of potential and a lot of expectations for this young man because the Mets need every good performance they can get. Obviously, with Robinson Cano, a lot of fans were upset by that, but he is a veteran player. He had a great opening game, and he's decent defensively, or more than decent. So I see positives for the New York Mets in the future.
Me too. And the next game is Saturday at 1:10 p.m. They will be playing the Nationals again, and we'll see what happens in that game. But going on to the Yankees now,
The other
who
New York
has
team.
been struggling. Obviously, the total opposite of the Mets right now.
They've been going through tough times.
Injuries has been a key factor.
Leel, that's been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because
Basically.
the Yankees pretty much, thus far, the Yankees have pretty much flip-flopped with the New York Mets. Because they've had injury upon injury. Troy Tulowitzki got hurt the other night. Calf strain, likely putting him on the injury list, the 10-day DL. Third baseman Miguel Andujar, our rookie sensation last year, tore his labrum against the Orioles a few games ago. Before that, they lost Giancarlo Stanton to the 10-day DL, and they're also still without their closer, Dellin Betances, shortstop Didi Gregorius, and ace pitcher Luis Severino. So,
well, good news.
a lot of injuries.
I would say Aaron Hicks, he resumes basketball. He resumed basketball activities today.
Oh, true.
That's a plus. But yes, the injury
And
bug
Aaron
has,
Hicks. I didn't even think about that.
you know.
That's another big one.
So the injury bug has hit the Yankees, right? You know, the first game, that home opener, that excellent opener, we thought, we was like, oh, yes, this is the team that's going to make the World
looks
Series.
like
This is the team right here, all right? With the deep bullpen, it was my prediction to go to the World Series and possibly win it, even though I didn't think they were going to win it, but I predicted them to get there. And then we like, wee, the Yankees. And now they are struggling tremendously. And yes, injuries are to blame for the poor start. Struggling offensively, something that we thought they would be good at, you know.
True.
And even though they do seem to still have the best bullpen, but the injuries, and that's very important, especially in a 162 game season.
No, definitely. They definitely do have a good bullpen. They're very deep in terms of relievers and just general, mid-game pitchers that they could bring in. Today they played a solid game. They wasn't looking good early.
Yeah, they were down. They were down 3-0. Then they were down 4-2.
Or before that, Gleyber Torres, because he was the biggest guy in this game, another rookie last year. He hit a solo shot in the third, made it 3-1, and then they were down 4-2 in the sixth, and in comes Torres again. He hits a 3-run bomb, 5-4 lead Yankees take, and then he's actually the youngest Yankee player to have a 4-hit game since Joe DiMaggio. So great game for Torres. Sort of put the team on his back, you could say. James Paxton, pitcher for the Yankees. He pitched a decent game, 6 innings, 9 strikeouts, but he did give up 4 runs and 8 hits. His relievers, like I said, Leel, they're very deep. Like you said, they're very deep in their bullpen. Tommy Conley was able to come in, and he pitched the next 1.2. Zach Britton then came in the 8th and got it done. And then Luke Voigt, the big man. First baseman, outstanding. As I mentioned, the first game, he had a great game. This game,
the home run in the first game
extends the lead in this one, 8-4 with a 3-run shot. So, like I said about Luke Voigt,
well so far to start this year.
He's a guy that I said very first show when the season started that I'm gonna have my eyes on him.
All eyes on him.
Big. He's a big player for them thus far.
Exactly.
Yanks were able to win that one today, so they're in 4th place.
So, there go your local Mets and Yankees updates right there.
Yes,
obviously, both teams are trending in different directions, but hopefully the Yankees will get it together soon as players start to come back from injury. And hopefully the Mets can keep it up. All right?
The amazing.
But what are your thoughts on Bryce Harper getting booed, making his return home?
Oh, no question, Leel. If I'm a Nats fan, I'm booing this man.
Me too.
Mainly because
totally
this
agree.
man's a traitor. He goes to
You're
their
traitor.
arch rival team, Leel, and signs a huge deal with them. Pretty much spits on the organization.
Exactly.
So if
I'm
a Nats fan, I'm booing.
And he thought he was slick. He tried to show love a couple games before because he know he didn't want to get booed. He tried to be slick. Come on, man.
But in the end, though, Leel, the game a few days ago against the Nats, Harper kind of got his revenge on those fans because he had a big 3-hit game. He hit a big double in the game that eventually led to a score, I believe. And then he proceeded to wave and bow to the crowd. So this man got his revenge with disrespecting the fans back.
He got the last laugh.
He did, and he also hit a home run and flipped that bat.
Even if he didn't have a good game like how he had, he still got the last laugh because the brother got paid.
Oh, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? The Phillies are off to a good start.
Oh, yeah, 4-1.
4-1. Exactly. So, another thing is, too, the reason why I'm not mad at the Nationals fans for booing Bryce Harper is for plenty of reasons. You have the right to boo who the hell you want to boo.
It's true.
And we went through this, I know on my show, my solo show, the podcast version on S Street Media, I had my dad on. I talked about Kawhi Leonard going to basketball for a little bit to make this analogy. People were like, oh, why did they the San Antonio Spurs fans boo Kawhi when he came back? Well, simple. He plays for the other team. He left that team. He went to the other team. Same thing with Bryce Harper. You left. So when you leave, I don't care what. I mean, yeah, we think we happy for what you did for us and stuff like that. But still, once you're a part of that other team, as a fan, you have a right to boo, cheer, woohoo, who the hell you want to woohoo, and get a bottle of yoo-hoo and keep it moving.
Especially if that team is an enemy team, Leel. Like if you
and
go
then
to an
hop
opposing
on the
team,
train.
we're booing. We're booing you, Leel.
Exactly.
I mean, there's obviously exceptions to those players like Melo. When Melo comes back to the Garden,
yeah, because he got shipped off.
Yeah,
he was actually
he got dogged.
Yeah, he got dogged. He got dogs, okay? So, yeah, I can see a scenario where Melo get a whole...
in here right now.
Exactly. Snoop Dogg to walk in the building. For shizzle, my nizzle, my grizzle. But, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I stand on this Bryce Harper. You know what I'm saying? When you decide to leave an organization, you are the enemy. If we go to war and you decide to go to the Aztecs or something like that in 300, right? You are the enemy. Am I not supposed to get rid of you? You know what I'm saying? You are the enemy. Bryce Harper is the enemy. and he just got paid, so he don't even care. He don't even care. He got paid, what, 13-year, $330 million deal? Come on. He can bow down to the cash, okay? All he wants to. Exactly.
Leel, speaking of should I stay or should I go?
Should I stay or should I go?
Kevin Durant?
KD!
Kevin Durant.
KD!
What we got, Leel?
KD! Kevin Durant, ladies and gentlemen. There are reports. Ric Bucher on the Colin Cowherd show, The Herd, said the other day that KD to the Knicks is a done deal. Oh my gosh. All right. So there's a lot to dissect, right?
Let's break this down here.
There's a lot of people that's just bashing his brother KD. I mean, KD, no matter how many rings that he won with the Warriors and how much he's going to win, because he's going to win another one this year, he still got to deal with the media conglomerate. He still got to do with the pickling, heckling fans out here. Like, you know, you a traitor, you took a sucker route. He got to deal with all that. So where do I think he gonna end up? I think he's coming to the Knicks. Why? Because he want to feel accepted. He's tired of getting stoned to death by the media, by the fans.
And you know what?
KD is a sensitive guy.
He
for
made
hell,
a snake move, so he got a lot of judgment for it.
He got a lot of judgment for it. You know, he's arguing with kids on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? All that.
He's looking like Donald Trump on Twitter.
Exactly. So
what's going on?
I believe that does play in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, when your first goal when you get in the league, and this is my opinion, because I'm not in the league, but in my opinion, your first goal is to win a championship.
Oh, no doubt.
Well, and then get paid.
That's your childhood dream as well.
Exactly.
So you
well, it depends on your
trophy.
priority. Some guys want to get paid, some guys it's a championship.
That's true.
But after you go the paid route and the championship route, you worried about your legacy when you're one of those transcendent players like KD is. So in his legacy, just like how the brother broadcaster of the Knicks, God, come on, man, come back to my mind. Bernard, oh my God. Bernard King, just like how he said, he's always going to have an asterisk around his name because of what he did. You know what I'm saying? So he knows that, and I believe that he's going to want to come to the Knicks in a good market, and he knows that if he can at least get this team to the Eastern Conference Finals or something like that, I mean, that's a legacy right there in itself.
That is 100% true, because if a player of his caliber, no doubt the second best in the world, if he comes to the New York Knicks, he's the type of
Some
franchise.
people argue the first.
True, that is
Some
a big
people argue
argument.
the first best player in the world.
But he's that type of player, Leel, that will transcend a franchise, I believe.
Yes, he will.
If he goes there, look at the Warriors. Yeah, they won without him, but once they got him, it was over for the league.
It was just destructive.
It was over for the league.
Basically.
So that right there, you get KD, and then like we were talking, Kyrie maybe gets attracted to that. You got something going.
We're gonna touch on that in a few seconds. But one thing I wanna make notice is even with the championships that he won on Golden State, when it comes to Golden State faithful, that town, that fan base, is always going to be Stephen Curry #1.
Oh yeah,
that's the face of the franchise. He's been there before KD, and he's going to be there after KD.
Even his splash brother Clay.
Even his splash brother Clay is ahead of him.
That team.
It's Stephen Curry, it's Klay Thompson, and then probably KD and Draymond.
True.
So KD is not the main guy. You know what I'm saying? So he want to feel accepted.
You want to be that
#1
guy. Come to New York.
Come to New York City. I think it's a good move for the people that say, oh, he should stay on Golden State. I mean, I can't argue with that because yes, you're going to win more championships. Yeah. So I can't argue with somebody making more championships.
But he already has, from a legacy. What, 3?
Yeah, he has 3. He will have 3, I believe.
Oh, really? Yeah. You're right. He has 2 before. So I would just,
based on the legacy standpoint,
you got the chips. You got the chips already. So
exactly.
Try to, like you said, try to transcend a franchise.
Exactly. Build your own team. Add to your legacy because you got the 3 chips, right? And some of it is going to be held against you. Some of it may not. Because in all actuality, in the years prior to the new generation, we value championships. That's what we look at. That's how we determine, who is the GOAT. How many championships you won. Even with the Jordan and LeBron James debate, is always the deciding factor is the chips. Oh, Jordan has 6. and LeBron James have this amount.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it is. You based
That's
on
true.
championships.
Every single sport, everybody out there listening, if you're a sports fan, you know this. In every sport, it's all about the chips, like you just said. So at the end of the day, whoever's got the most, that's most likely who's superior. You look at Tom Brady, I mean, he's got more than he can put on his fingers.
Exactly. Soon he's going to have to start filling up his toes with some rings. All right? That's just how it is.
This man's going to get a nose ring.
Exactly. He's going to get a nose ring. He might get a mouth ring. And then I don't know where else he's going to put it. And I don't want to know. But anyway, Kyrie Irving now.
Yes,
obviously, because we talking KD.
Mhm.
KD, we all know, has been linked to Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie, there's talks that the Nets are actually, if not as preferred as the Knicks, it's probably more preferable for Kyrie than the Knicks. He liked what they have done there culturally, and I have too, as a fan. Seeing that team, how they play together, they seem to be having fun. They're on the verge of making the playoffs. We already know they daunted over the schedule that they got coming up. But the chemistry, the way how D'Angelo, Russell, deloading, has been loading, you know, it's a game on.
Kenny Atkinson, the head coach, he's been able to bring them together.
Couple good players, Cabbage LeVert, you know, Jared Dudley. I mean, they got a youthful team that, let's see where they could be with a couple pieces added to that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And they're already, like we're going to go into, they're already the 8th seed right now. They're already looking like they can make the playoffs. So then comes the big question. If Kyrie were to be interested in the Nets, do you get rid of D'Lo or D. Russell?
I'm not getting rid of D'Lo for Kyrie. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people can fight me on that, but D'Lo is an all-star. We can't forget that this brother played in the all-star game. So why would I give up a player who is very young, whose upside is through the roof right now, who is an all-star, who is developing, over a guy in Kyrie who, let's say, doesn't handle the media well, injury prone. We haven't seen a lot of Kyrie like really being healthy.
I mean, yeah.
Why would I give that up?
You can look at past Kyrie. People argue, past Kyrie.
Even through college.
Six All-Star games. He's got, obviously he has the chip. He's clutch. But I agree. You look at recent Kyrie, he's been all over the place towards this season. You look at with the media stuff and all that, and that team trying to stay together.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have D'Lo. This man, ice in the veins. This man's
Ice
focused.
in the veins.
They're
my
focused.
brother.
And I agree, Leel. I wouldn't disrupt the chemistry on the Nets team right now. I would keep it the way it is. The point guard is the foundation of your team.
D'Lo, he has so much ice in his veins. If he went to get a shot at the doctor would turn into an ice trap. All right? That's how much ice in the veins this brother D'Lo have. I'm not giving up D'Lo for Kyrie. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Kyrie is not a better player than D'Lo, but I'm just saying from a development of a franchise, I'm just not doing it at all. And I just find it hard to see how they will even pair together if Kyrie was to come there, because Kyrie and D'Lo obviously have a good relationship. They posted, D'Lo posted a picture of Kyrie on Instagram.
There's obviously a lot of respect between the two.
I don't know if they can coexist. They play the both positions. I don't know.
True. I mean, then you'd have to, if that ever was an option, you'd have to look at like moving one of the two to a shooting guard, or like even having like one of them come off the bench, which would be crazy to even think about.
But for Kyrie, I could understand why the Nets is a favorite choice of his. Because when you think about it, the Nets don't have to do as much as the Knicks have to do. The Knicks have to really rebuild. The Knicks are, a team that has only won 15 games.
They've been around for a while as well.
Going to be on the verge of making the playoffs, and they're already, they're already better. So
they're a fairly new team as well. Aren't they? They're only a few years old, technically.
Exactly. And then the media, which Kyrie obviously does not like,
yeah,
it's going to be very tough on him in Madison Square Garden. So the Nets is a little bit more, relaxed.
Yeah, Leel, you can't even be a celebrity and get a dirty water hot dog in the city without people taking pictures.
Exactly.
So the media is going to be all over.
If we get a hot dog, people going to be like, where the sour cap at? All right? Where the bun at?
They caption that.
Exactly.
The caption.
Exactly. So,
That's very true.
I don't know if Kyrie really wants to deal with that media conglomerate over there in MSG. I don't know.
Let's ask what everybody thinks.
What y'all think? 607-753-4819. Once again, 607-753-4819. One more time, 607-753-4819. Call us up. Let us know how you
Would you take Kyrie
feel.
or D'Angelo if given the option?
Yes.
Would you get rid of D'Lo for Kyrie, or would you keep the Nets the same?
But when it's all said and done, KD and Kyrie is linked. From what I'm hearing, they keep in touch every day. Listen, I have friends that are very close to me, and I don't even talk to them every day. So they obviously get along really, really well. And they talk every day. They're going out to eat together. You know, I pay the bill. No, you pay the bill. No, I pay the bill. You pay the bill. You know what I'm saying? You know, after the All-Star game, what happened? They were spotted eating together. You know what I'm saying? Pass me the A1 sauce on this filet mignon.
Where one goes, the other might go.
Exactly. So
but
we'll see.
The fact that Kyrie and KD are talking about stuff like this, Leel, that excites me because right there, talking about different locations and landing spots of where they could go. That may be a hint that KD might be done with the Warriors.
Oh, I think he's done with the Warriors. I think the Warriors
especially if
know
they win
too.
this year.
I think
might
the
be getting that
Warriors.
suitcase ready.
I think the Warriors already know. I think they're preparing for it. I think they know, and I think they'll be fine without him. I really do.
Oh yeah.
I think they'll be fine.
Incredibly talented team already.
Exactly.
And Boogie Cousins might leave too, though. Isn't he only on a year deal?
Yeah, I think he's gonna be out too. My thing here is, you cannot tell me out of every day that these guys speak, supposedly, because I'm hearing they talk every day, or when they went out to eat, or when they do go out to eat, you cannot tell me with both of their free agencies coming up, that they have not discussed that together at least one time. Like, yo, KD, man, you a free agent, I'm a free agent, at least once.
They definitely have, without a doubt, mentioned that.
But
they had to.
Speaking of the Nets here, right now they clinging to the 7th spot, the 7th seed in the East. They try to make the playoffs.
Magic right behind them. The
Magic is right behind them at the 8th seed. The Heat is right behind them. With the 9th seed, the Hornets is over there trying to fight. I don't have that much hope for the Hornets because they like 2 games out right now.
Yeah, and there's
of
only
the 8th
3
spot.
games left.
It's only 3 games left. But the Nets got a hard schedule. And it may come down to the last game of the season when they played Miami. And this is a tricky game. You know why?
That is a big
because
game.
D-Wade's last regular season game.
Oh, man.
So you do not want to have that game, even though it's at home.
Oh, man.
It's D-Wade's last game.
He's gonna ball. He's gonna be ready to ball.
Exactly.
And honestly, Leel, no offense to the Nets. I mean, they're the 7th seed right now, so it looks like they pretty much have it. But I mean, the Heat. I would love to see D-Wade in the playoffs one last time. Like, obviously the Heat probably have to win out, and then a couple things have to happen. Like the Magic have to lose, which is possible because the Magic only have 1 win more over the Heat. So I don't know about you, Lil, but classic D-Wade, seeing him in one final playoff.
Yeah, one final game of the regular season. I mean,
that'd be pretty awesome to see if they can.
That's
make
what I'm
it.
saying. So
That's
I mean, at home, that's a game that they probably think they should win. But I won't rule it out. D-Wade, he gonna put on the show.
Yeah.
So we look at the schedule here for the Nets. The next game is this Saturday at 5:00 against the one and only number 1 seeded Bucks.
Oh man.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, they're gonna lose this game, and they're on the road. On top of that, Giannis, MVP caliber season, might end up winning the award. He's my pick to win the award, my favorite. I don't think the Nets win that game. Then you look to the game after that. They're on the road against the Pacers. The Pacers have been a surprisingly good
playoff team. They've already clinched.
On the road. I don't think they get past the Pacers either. So you drop in 2 games.
True, 5th seed.
Exactly.
So
you drop in 2 games right there. You have a bunch of teams like we just alluded to that's fighting for that last spot. And then you have the home game against the Heat with Dwayne Wade, like we said, his final regular season game.
Yeah.
So the Nets have a hard schedule, but when it's all said and done, I do believe they could pull off that game at home.
I think
it's going to come down to that game.
I definitely think that I have strong faith that they will make the playoffs, but For me, if they can win one of those two rough games, Bucks or Pacers, that would be incredible for them. Because then I feel like if you beat one of those teams, you have the momentum to beat the Heat at home.
And that game against the Trailblazers a couple games ago, I believe on the road they should have won that game because they had the lead. I believe it was up by 7 with like a couple minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. That game went to double overtime.
Yeah.
And that's a game, especially with a good team like that on the road, you wanna be able to win that game. And they didn't. And that kind of put them in this situation.
Yeah.
Because if they lose all 3 games here, they out. I believe they have to win at least one.
Oh, they have to. It's way too close with the last 3 left to be losing all 3. The odds have to be on your side if you're going to do that. Because I doubt that you're going to have three other teams lose. The Pistons, the Magic, and the Heat lose all 3 games as well. So
we'll see, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to come down to the wire.
Through the wire. What a chance to call up the request line. 607. All right, 607-753-4819. Once again, 607-753-4819. We're going to start taking calls at this commercial break. Once again, 607-753-4819. Call up, get in the huddle. We'll be back after these brief messages.
Ladies and gents, good evening. It is 8:44 p.m. We are back in the huddle, WSUC 90.5 FM, all my Central New Yorkers and live stream listeners.
What it do?
We are here for you guys.
Yes, we are here for you guys. All right? So take that time and call up 607-753-4819. Let us know what topics you want to be discussed, what you got on your mind. Did your baby mama left
anything you want to talk about.
Anything that's going on. How did your day went? Did your boss get on your nerve? Did you get fired? Did you quit? Let us know, because we order you know what. But anyway, we are moving on. It's time to talk some Russell Wilson. All right, he gave the Seahawks the April 15th deadline to complete the deal. My son Russell Wilson got the mans, man. He got the mans. He's like, I command you to give me this deal.
I saw recently he wants something similar to Aaron Rodgers type contract, and he wants it to be like a record-breaking deal because right now I think Rodgers is the highest-paid quarterback in the league. But Leel, while you can't let your franchise quarterback slip away from you, you got to pay this man. But as an organization, they pay this man too much. It could cripple the franchise's future because they still have to pay linebacker Frank Clark, who's a great player. July 15th is the deadline for him, so they have some time. But then Bobby Wagner and Jaron Reed, both of their contracts also expire as well, and they are big for the team. So the question arises, how much money do you give this guy?
I think we give him the record-breaking deal that he wants.
Oh, man.
Russell Wilson, to me, is the future of the NFL. When Tom Brady decides to hang up his cleats, which is soon on the horizon, we all know Tom Brady's great, but my brother can't play till he's 50 now. I mean, come on now. He gonna be on crutches. I mean, being old with a walker, he ain't gonna be able to throw 4 touchdowns
He'll be in the pocket with a wheelchair.
I mean, come on. It can't happen like that. So when Tom Brady retires, when Drew Brees retires, Phillip Rivers retire, to me, the future of the NFL includes Russell Wilson and Andrew Luck. Those are my 2 guys right there.
It's true. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is I believe 33 now.
I mean, he got a couple more years left.
So he's got some time. But
he got some time. But yeah, to me, Russell Wilson and Luck is a future. And you want to give the future that amount of deal because he deserves it. He won you 2 championships.
They got to the playoffs last year.
Was it 2 championships? I think it was 1.
I believe it was 1 and they lost.
1 and they lost.
Yeah.
Because of a daggone call, but should have been 2.
Exactly. Marshawn Lynch should have been eating Skittles in the end zone, but they chose to throw that ball.
Exactly. So, to me, Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. He has a nice touch on the D ball. I mean, you can help by putting
he's good out of the pocket.
He's good out of the pocket. He's consistent. He does a lot. A couple years ago, he was in the MVP discussion.
Yeah.
So
his stats don't lie last season either. 35 touchdowns,
and I thought
7 picks.
in that game against the Cowboys, which they lost in the wild card,
They
decided to run the ball the whole game. And it wasn't even working at all.
It was
sometimes
a dumb move.
you run the ball because it sets up your play action, so you keep trying until you get it.
Exactly.
But, my guy, it's the fourth quarter. It's not working for you. Time for Russell Wilson, your Super Bowl winning quarterback, to pass the daggone ball.
Yeah,
To me, that was bad play calling that why they lost that game.
That was definitely poor play calling, and
So
it comes down to Pete Carroll too. Like,
exactly.
You have to command that. If your OC's not doing his job, you got to step in.
So my thing is Russell Wilson is a good quarterback. He's an elite quarterback. He is one of the future quarterbacks of the NFL as far as taking over. And I just believe that he deserves his deal. You pay the guy. You do not let him walk. The Giants are making a lot of noise. We heard about the Giants and the Russell Wilson links. Ciara. She wants to go to New York. She wants to be in New York. And when the wife got a lot to say, the wife could have a lot to say.
You probably
know
gonna listen.
I mean, you don't want her going back to Future. I'm pretty sure you don't want her going back to Future. All right. So he want to be in her future, and he want to be, and she want him to be in New York. So
I mean, I'm kind of split down the middle with both because on one side of me says yes, he's a great quarterback, like you said, youth. He's got youth. He's the future of the league. But on the other hand, if you give him too much money, you might cripple the franchise to the point where, yes, we got Wilson back, but what's good? What's the use of having Wilson if we lose a bunch of key players that keep the team a team? You know what I mean? They lose a few of those defensive players like Bobby Wagner, and I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. I literally just said Frank Clark. They lose 2 of those players. That's 2 top players on the defense. And Earl Thomas III at safety position, you're already losing him because he wants to go somewhere else. So, or he already got signed, right?
Yeah.
Earl Thomas? I forgot the team, but
he definitely got signed. And I believe it's by the Ravens.
Yes.
The Ravens is the team that signed him.
So, that's the only reason why I'm two-sided, is because if you pay him too much money, you got to make sure you have enough to go around. I'm pretty sure they don't have a big cap space. Might be something like
well,
I gotta look it up. But
I do believe, when you're building a team, obviously the offensive line is the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go with your quarterback. Mm-hmm. And yes, they have him already, but they want to keep the brother happy. And I just personally believe you give him that contract, you keep him happy, you keep these Giants rumors away. All right? You shut up these Giants rumors. Because Eli Manning, obviously, this should be his last year. So you wanna keep the guy happy. But then again, who knows how serious Russell Wilson is? Because there was also reports that he gave them a deadline before.
Yeah.
And nothing happened.
I feel like he's just saying, this is my deadline. I want this amount of money, because he's probably trying to see how much he could get out of scaring them, Because they might offer him a generous contract just based off the fact that they're like, we don't want to lose this guy, rather than him just staying silent and settling for whatever, But right now, I think their cap space is $11 million. So depending on how much you give this guy, I don't even know. They could go over it.
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I do believe he's going to end up being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Deservedly slow. I said deservedly so. My voice is over here, tingling up. But yeah, because like I said, that is their guy. And Russell Wilson is what makes the engine go in Seattle. He is the face of that organization. So you pay the brother. And then then you focus on training camp, OTAs, all that sort. So we'll see. But when we come back for the second hour, ladies and gentlemen, hour number 2 of In the Huddle, we got a lot of topics, including our In the Huddle news. Mm-hmm. We have our Final Four predictions, Russell Westbrook, triple-double machine, a bunch of good stuff. We'll be back in the next couple minutes. Definitely stay tuned. We In the Huddle, ladies and gentlemen.
Yorkers, live stream listeners, stay here.
90.5.
Because it's not over.
It's not over till it's over, but it's far from over.
Is set to declared for, and is set for the NBA draft. Leel, this is big because he was great for Murray State throughout the March Madness. So I'm eager to see where he's going to fall on that draft board and what team's going to need him. on their team. But another big thing in the news this week.
Well, before we go to that, I just want to
okay.
give my comments on
Real
Jay
quick.
Morant real quick. I mean, that's a talented cat right there. I mean, I could tell he's probably going to be a triple-double machine.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of people
He's
are even
phenomenal.
throwing out the notion that he might be more NBA ready than Zion.
Wow.
And that's because we all know
That's bold.
Zion has a lot of deficiencies, as we all know. You know, obviously he's not the best shooter in the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, certain things he's gonna have to patch up when he do get in the NBA.
He's got to fix his sneakers, too.
And Jay, exactly. You know, we can't be ripping out his shoes in the NBA. And Jay Morant, you know, he's a guy that can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe he goes second with the number 2
Wow.
overall pick over R.J. Barrett. And, you know, if you don't get Zion and you don't have the number 1 pick, that's a guy where, yeah, you would be upset you didn't get Zion, but you will feel comfortable with him.
I mean, Leel, Morant, he averaged 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists. So that's pretty consistent if you ask me. And they went decently far, way more than people expected.
In the
them to
March
go.
Madness tournament.
Exactly.
Or should I say, the March Sadness tournament.
This man,
That's how these players was acting like. They were crying.
Leel, people are out here probably listening, changing their kids and stuff. They don't want to hear this crying.
That's how these kids were crying when they ran home, all right? I just don't understand how fast the tears could come when the clock hits 0 and then these players start breaking down crying. I just don't
Yeah.
understand. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go to the gym, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it is. But in the next Huddle News, what we got on the agenda?
Leel, if you want to cover the next one, I'll do the one after that, just because I have a little bit of info about
Jordy
third.
Nelson. And number 2 in the Huddle News, Jordy Nelson has not ruled out playing again if Aaron Rodgers gives him the call. So, when I look at this, and we see Jordy Nelson retired as an Oakland Raider,
Mhm.
basically what this tells me is, you're not my quarterback. That's what he's saying to Derek Carr. You're not my guy. Get your hands off me. Only Aaron Rodgers can get me out of retirement. That's my quarterback. Terrell Owens. That's my quarterback.
That is very true, Leel.
That's what it seems like
And-
when it comes to Jordy Nelson.
I mean,
That's my quarterback.
if Rodgers does in fact call Jordy Nelson out and they brought that tandem back, that would be incredible to watch again, because they currently have and still have the highest quarterback to wide receiver rating as a duo in the league. Obviously, Gronk and Brady are second to that.
And you know, tight ends are a quarterback's best friend. And Jimmy Graham ain't do nothing last year for the Green Bay Packers. Just disastrous. So, I mean, what else?
So in the Huddle News, the third thing, Lil, I couldn't find it. I had a bunch of stuff written out for it, but I'll basically just sum it up. We all know his name. Conor McGregor decides basically in this tweet that he is going to, in fact, come out of retirement. And I'm sure we all, already foreshadowed this.
I mean, we said it
occurring.
last week.
Even with Clever Trevor
Even
on
with Clever
here.
Trevor on here.
McGregor tweeted one day ago, quote, I want to move forward with my fans of all faiths and all backgrounds. All faiths challenge us to be our best selves. It is one world and one for all. Now see you in the octagon. So there's a couple things about this that you already knew he was going to come back. Obviously the beef with Khabib, and saying, he tweeted, don't be scared of the rematch, you little scurrying rat.
Your wife is a towel mate. Wow.
So this man went way too far with religion and stuff.
And then he went against, he went against his religion.
And then Khabib
He
fires back
calling him a rapist.
So Dana White made a statement about this. He wants to put this to rest. He wants the verbal beef to end, because these guys are going way out of the bounds of what should be done professionally. So that's just one thing with McGregor. And then second, there's been some recent beef with boxer Paulie Malignaggi. Malignaggi. He basically called out McGregor, saying that he's pitiful and he's a natural-born loser. He also said that he laughs at Conor and he's not worried because Conor's not going to do anything. So McGregor and his slick, clever ways, he puts up on Twitter when the two of them were sparring partners during the Mayweather training, McGregor put up a series of uncaptioned photos of, what's his name, Malignaggi and McGregor. And McGregor was throwing big lefts and rights at this man. In every photo, it showed Malignaggi getting blasted by the punches. So McGregor's not afraid to expose you. And for this man, for this no-name man, I mean, I don't know him. You might know him more because of the boxing.
He's in the boxing.
Is he a big boxer?
He's known.
So even though he is known, if you mess with McGregor, you know this man's gonna trash talk you back. And I'm interested because that right there could be a big fight come summer.
I mean, sometimes, I never disliked Conor McGregor, and I still don't dislike Conor McGregor, but sometimes, I would say this, they get annoying. All right? Just fight.
Yeah,
all right?
That is true. It's been 2 years.
All right? It's been 2 years. You lost a couple fights in a row. Just let your action do the talking. Instead of you out here tweeting, train.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready. Get back these rematches, especially with Khabib. That's what we want to see.
Oh, that's the biggest thing because I feel like this man, when that fight happened, he took it way too, in a joking manner. He really didn't think Khabib would be very much of a match for him. And obviously he got beat to the canvas, so exactly. I'm definitely interested
and
in
I
that.
could just imagine with everything how it ended, the way how it ended the last time these guys fight. This, Khabib jumping over here like he's Spider-Man into the crowd.
Yeah.
Jumping like he in a surfboard party. I mean, I could just imagine that with the tweeting going on now, just them fighting again, how that would be.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a fueled up fight of emotion.
I would definitely be the first one to watch that.
I want to watch that. I just want to see McGregor fight again. It's been 2 years getting the octagon, man. Like you said, he's got to tone it down with the running of his mouth.
It's been 2 years. I thought it was
2
1
years.
year.
Pretty sure it's been 2.
Nah, it's like 1 year.
2017.
That's when you
it's 2019 now. Yeah.
Yo, where time be flying at?
It's crazy.
Yo, that's crazy. Time be flying. Time don't wait on no man but the man himself.
That's very true, Leel. And the final thing for the Huddle News.
UConn's women's basketball coach says the majority of coaches in America are afraid of their players. Do you agree with this? Do you feel so?
I mean, just look at the situation with LeBron. Everywhere LeBron goes, a coach is definitely scared that he's going to get him fired.
Well, LeBron James
is
obviously the coach, not the coach's best friend, but as far as a collective group, you know what I'm saying? Because I understand,
it's true.
LeBron James, that could be a handful.
Arguably, he is the coach if you're LeBron.
Exactly. But I do agree with his statement because think about it. Think about NCAA. He coaches in the NCAA. The transfer rules now. Guys are, it's easy to transfer now. So you step in my shoes. Oh, word coach, you stepped on my J's. I'm transferring. Or you sit me down for a play. I'm transferring. And these guys are sensitive. People are sensitive. This is the sensitive generation because of social media. It makes you sensitive. So a lot of guys, a coach could yell at them and they put in their transfer papers tomorrow. In college football, a lot of guys transfer. So that's just how it is. The more power you give to the players, the more they're going to use that power to their advantage. And it takes the power. You cannot have, in sports, players having power, the same amount of power as the coach and the organization, and expect it to be equal. Somebody's going to get left out. Somebody's power is going to get less. So now that the players have more power than they have in the past in the collegiate level, now coaches is getting less power. In programs.
Yeah, and looking at that statement,
so
I definitely agree.
Yeah,
I agree. At the collegiate level, the coaches are definitely the inferior,
And even in the NBA, when you think about it, because even though you can't transfer in the NBA, you can sit out like Kyrie or threaten injury, threaten surgery, or like AD. I'm not going to return here. I got 2 more years left on my deal. I won't be coming back, so you better trade me. So it's a hard job being a coach in general.
No, it is.
You're afraid of the way how the system works. Your team don't make the playoffs, you're going to get fired. So you're naturally scared, whether it's your players, your program, the way how the NCAA, the professional sports world work, is a hard game for the coaches. You see coaches get 1 year shot, they'll get fired. Like Steve Wilkins of the Arizona Cardinals. Didn't even get a chance to unpack his bags. into the new city.
True.
Had to get right out of there. So I can see it. I just see it in the broader level. They scared, period.
Definitely, Leel. And that pretty much wraps up the Huddle News for today, ladies and gents. And we'll get right on
for
in.
the Final Four predictions.
Final Four predictions.
Obviously, we all know the Final Four, March Madness, or should I say March Sadness? Because that's exactly what's going to be happening. These players going to be crying. Because somebody going to go home. Two teams going to go home at that.
And let's look at this. Auburn, Virginia, Leel.
To start it off, 6:09 p.m., number 5 ranked Auburn versus number 1 Virginia Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Virginia is the only number 1 team, number 1 ranked team, seeded team left.
Mm-hmm.
Duke fell. North Carolina fell.
Yeah.
All these teams fell. Gonzaga.
For me, Leel.
Gonzaga. They fell.
Number 1, number 1. I'm taking Auburn. I'm going with Auburn hands down. They're
They're
red hot.
Outset.
They're red hot.
I mean,
all this momentum on their side. They've been a sleeper since the round of 64. They last beat the number 2 ranked and top favorite to win it all. One of the top favorites, Kentucky, with a 77-71 win. They also beat number 3 Tennessee and number 4 Kansas, all powerhouse teams that were favored to beat Auburn. So with Bryce Brown and Jared Harper, 2 great players on this team. You know, their last game against Kentucky, they both had 20-plus point games. And you look at Virginia, they almost lost to Gardner-Webb. They blew a 20-point lead and then were obviously able to rebound and come back. I'm not saying Virginia's not a good team.
I'm
not saying they're not a good team, but saying it's just destined for Auburn, for me.
I think that, and I'm pretty sure Charles Barkley will be glad because he's already hysterical that they got that forward. I mean, this is one of the best Auburn moments in history. This is their first Final Four. Yeah. So, I would say this. The game against Gardner-Webb for Virginia, obviously, was the first game. We all know what happened to them last year. They were the first team ever to lose to a number 16 team.
Exactly.
So I believe that played a part in their psyche in the beginning of the Gardner-Webb game. So I don't put too much emphasis on that. Because I'm like, they know what they've been through. Everybody was watching them and make sure that they didn't lose the first round again. So
it definitely shows that they have that Achilles.
But I think they got it together ever since. True,
they've been a solid
They've
squad.
been a solid team. Defensively, is an excellent team.
Oh, yeah.
And because of that is why I'm going to pick them to beat Auburn. I just believe that
they have a little head-to-head going on.
Yeah, I think they beat Auburn. I mean, Auburn is a good team that you cannot count out. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just looking at real quick, one of Auburn's biggest stats, a key point in this game is how efficient Auburn's going to be with the three-pointer. Because the Tigers average over 11 three-pointers made per game, which is the 3rd highest mark in college basketball. So, and Virginia, they're 4th in the country in only allowing opponents to shoot 28.7% from 3. So that's pretty impressive in itself. So I think this game is going to be a battle of the trenches.
And I think
it's going to be a close battle.
The defense is going to, the team with the best defense is going to win this game.
Exactly.
And that's why I kind of believe Virginia's going to win.
They definitely, on paper, and just looking at the organizations as a whole, obviously they definitely have the more experienced defense and collective defense.
They had a couple close games. They beat Purdue in the Elite Eight by 5 points. That was a good game. They beat a good Oregon team, which I thought was an excellent team this year. They were a sleeper team, and they beat them. So obviously they didn't really have the toughest of roads in the tournament. But I do believe when it's all said and done that it's gonna be a close game. I'm telling you that right now.
Without a doubt. The only reason why I'm picking Auburn is because people laid on their pillows since the round of 64. Everybody was sleeping on Auburn, and I'm just interested to see if they can win it. Because that would be an incredible story.
That would be an incredible story. And like I said, shout out to my dude Charles. He will be happy if they're able to do that. And in the second game, who do we have here? We have Texas Tech Raiders, Red Raiders, should I say, against the number 2 Michigan State. To me, this is as even as they come. 8:49 p.m.
This game
to cap it off.
It's crazy though, because Saturday these games are going to be the games to watch. Either somebody's crying, or somebody's raising players on their shoulders, because these 2 games are going to be nail-biter games. And yes, Lil, I agree, they're both going to be very close down to the final shot.
Honestly,
and this one, who you taking?
Who you think have the better chance of an upset? Auburn or Texas Tech? Well, obviously you picked Auburn to win, so
Yeah.
I think Texas Tech. You know, I think they have the best chance of an upset. I think they're going to win.
They've
And the
been an
reason why-
incredible team.
The reason why I think Texas Tech is going to win is because of their body of work through the tournament. They literally obliterated Michigan, a
Oh,
team that is a good team that I had actually going to the Final Four.
Yeah,
They
me too.
obliterated them, right? They beat an excellent Gonzaga team.
Yeah.
This has been the best Gonzaga team ever,
Yeah.
and they beat them.
And
So their body of work, to me, along with those 2 wins right
Yeah.
there, tells me that this team is not to be messed with.
it's true. Just looking at the fact that they're the #1 team in defensive efficiency, you know, they're a bit under average a little bit for, you know, offensively, but
Yeah.
they're very good. They're very solid
Very
with
solid
assists.
defensively
solid-
too.
Yeah, exactly. Their defense is one of the top ranked, and they shoot a lot of threes, but most of their points, 52% of their points are within the arc. So
I mean, they even beat Buffalo, and yeah, it seemed like Buffalo, but Buffalo was a lot of people's, you know, low school going up in the tournament. A lot of people had Buffalo sneaking up there a little bit, even including myself, and they beat them too, obliterated them too. So to me, their body of work, it shows me a lot, and that's why I think that this is the safest pick.
in this game, Leo, I agree. I'm taking Texas Tech all the way to beat Michigan State.
So you got 2 upsets.
Yeah,
You missed the upset guy.
I'm being the upset
You
man.
being Drake right now. I'm upset. People keep coming for my check. You know you don't get no respect.
Leo,
We in the huddle, don't break your neck.
The reason why I'm taking Tech is because, like you said, their defense is incredible. I'm going to be the stat man again. They've held teams second lowest field goal percentage allowed in the country, and they have the 11th highest turnover rate. So they are a proven defensive team, and just that alone, I don't think Michigan State's offense is good enough to beat Texas Tech.
Exactly.
But overall, you're taking Texas Tech to win it. As a sleeper, I'm taking Auburn. So we got two different sides of the spectrum to have.
Two different
have
sides of the spectrum, and I still need cable. Ladies and gentlemen, I ain't able. But anyway, so with that being said, you got Auburn, you got Texas Tech. You know where I'm going with this. Who's winning the national championship? And Kenny C's my prediction.
I'm taking Auburn. You're taking Tech. The reason why I'm taking Auburn, like I said, both teams were sleepers, but I just feel like there's just a gut feeling in me that Auburn is just destined to win. I see it happening. As good as Tech is defensively, I feel like Auburn beat some top teams and they're still hungry.
I mean, we gotta.
While they both beat top teams, I don't know. I got a feeling about Auburn, though.
I would say this. I mean, Texas Tech obviously not the best offensive team.
Mm-hmm.
They're not better than Michigan State. They only average 72 points a game. Michigan State 73. But I still take Texas Tech over Michigan State, and I have Texas Tech versus Virginia in a championship. And I think it's gonna be a close game, but I actually will go with Texas Tech.
Wow.
It's 50-50. But I do believe.
Are you picking them to beat Michigan too?
No, yeah, I'm picking them to beat Michigan State, and then I'm picking them to beat Virginia because I got Virginia beating Auburn, and I got Texas Tech beating Michigan State.
Well, since my bracket folded in the Sweet 16, we're making new brackets right now. So I'm taking the 2 upsets, Texas Tech and Auburn, and then I'm gonna say Auburn's gonna win it. But
I think Tech wins. I like what they have done in the tournament so far. They showed me they already. I mean, Gonzaga's a better team than every other team that they got to play.
Yeah.
Same thing I would say about Michigan. I think Michigan was better than Michigan State. It's close.
Oh yeah,
it's close.
No, I think they're definitely better.
So that's why my safest bet is to go with Texas Tech. It's because they body of work. To me, the last 2 teams that they played is better than any other team that they probably have to play. With the exception of Virginia, who I believe is equally as good as all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Ladies and gents, what do you think? 607-753-4819. 607-753-4819. Call in and let us know if your bracket already folded and you want to give us your picks, or if you just want to give us your picks, call in and give us your take. And this radio station does not want to agree with us today.
It's all good though. we can agree to disagree. And we're going to still get this show on the road. And the next topic here is Russell Westbrook. I mean, Mr. Triple-Double himself.
Yes, sir.
Scoring a triple-double, putting up 20-plus points in points, rebounds, and assists. Becomes the first player in decades to do so. All right? Westbrook will finish this season averaging a triple-double for the 3rd straight year.
Yes, sir.
What does this game tell you about Russell Westbrook?
This game, to me, Leel, shows me that this man is a pure athlete. This man is going to carry them far in the playoffs, along with Paul George and Steve Adams and Dennis Schroeder off the bench, all those guys. Because not only did Westbrook put the team on his back, what was it, last year, 2 years ago when they made the playoffs? And to be averaging that is incredible. So not only that, but let alone he has had an 18-18-18 game. No one has ever done that since Wilt Chamberlain as well. So no one's even gotten to the 18-18-18, let alone 20-20-20. So this man is an incredible athlete, and just having that average alone gives people the thought of MVP talks.
And one thing I would say about Russell Westbrook, in the past, I made comments that I thought were very accurate about him being a ball-dominant stat pattern in the past. But now that I think about it, this Russell Westbrook this year is making me look like a fool for my comments back then. I'm being serious.
He's a true team player.
He's a true team player this year. All right, he knew. Basically, it's Paul George's team. When Paul George is the best player on that team, they're a better team.
Oh yeah.
And you see Russell Westbrook taking a little back seat in a way, and giving some of the love.
Being a true point guard.
Being a true point guard. Getting his guys involved. So this Russell Westbrook that I'm seeing this year is phenomenal. He gets all the respect for me. I mean, he plays with that aggressive spirit.
Yeah.
He attacks the basket like the basket stole his girlfriend in high school. All right? Everything that this brother does is aggressive. All right? He loves the game. He's passionate. He shows it. I don't like sometimes him heckling with fans. And obviously fans do need to know how to just watch the game and you know, wash their mouth out with Listerine. Because, you know, half the things that these fans say is ridiculous. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
But Russell Westbrook is that guy. He is that guy. I mean, and his play is just going to be very dangerous in the playoffs, playoff times, especially when Paul George is being clutch. Because obviously, one thing that Russell Westbrook doesn't have is that clutch gene.
That's true.
He struggles from three-point land too.
And that's why you got PG.
And that's why you got PG.
So,
and if PG could be that guy, to be the clutch guy, to make the three-pointers, then this team is a scary team. Because you know Steven Adams is going to be a beast on the boards.
Exactly.
You know he's going to get you rebounds.
And then even,
you know Dennis Schroeder off the bench is going to give you valuable minutes.
So even when Westbrook's tired, Schroeder is a baller, averaging 15 points. He's a great player as well. And Jeremy Grant. So they're a solid team. And I think that
they just got to be consistent when it comes to winning.
Exactly.
Early in the year, they started to do good, and I wasn't on the train yet. I said, watch, they're going to start struggling again, because I'm used to it. And they started struggling, and now they fighting for that 7th seed along with the Spurs.
Which we should talk about.
Which we're going to talk about right now. So they just got to be be more consistent. And if they can do that, they got bounced in the first round last year. Yeah. They got a year under their belt. They're a better team than they were.
Now they got the better players. So
they're a better team than they were last year. They upped their bench.
Yeah.
With bringing in the addition of Dennis Schroeder. So guess what? Let's ride the Schroeder. All right, the scooter to the playoffs. And let's see what happens.
That's it.
Because I do believe they can make noise. And I believe that they're a dangerous team to anybody they play.
All across sports, Leel, that's the biggest thing, is the word consistency.
Exactly.
No matter what it is, what sport it is, if you're not consistent, you're not going far come playoff time when it matters most.
So now you have this race for the number 7 seed. Because you don't want to be an 8 seed in the West. You're going to go home.
No, you don't.
Because you don't want to play those bad boys known as the Warriors.
You do not want to play them.
You don't want to play them at all. At all. Because We all know they got the best starting five in history, and
Yeah.
this little shade that you see of the Warriors ain't nothing because they bored.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to playoff time, they're gonna come right out the gate and they're gonna punch you in the mouth, and
They're
you're gonna
gonna
get
be ready.
smacked.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to be an AC. So obviously, I know the Spurs and the Thunder is trying desperately to get that 7th seed.
And avoid that Warriors.
Exactly. First round
Destruction.
matchup and destruction. Avoid that hurricane. Give you a chance to evacuate before the hurricane comes to town. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
sir.
let's see who will be able to evacuate. Because the Thunder are 45-33. The Spurs are 45-33. I believe, matter of fact, they did play yesterday. The Spurs, I believe it is. But right now, these are two teams, like we said. They
Yes,
are
sir.
trying for the 7th
And-
seed.
And you know, just looking at the
And the Spurs did lost yesterday. So
Mhm.
they are 45-34. They lost, they got spanked by the
Mhm.
Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
So they, I believe, a game behind the
And
Thunder.
I mean, team-wise, Leel, looking at, you know, when these two teams played each other, the Spurs have the season record over them 2-1, but
And I remember that one game where
the
with
overtime, oh man,
That was an excellent
Aldridge balled out,
Yes, he did.
56 points,
Yes,
and
he
so
did.
did PG, 30 points.
Exactly.
So these two teams are two teams that are
Evenly
very
matched.
similar.
They're very evenly matched.
very
I believe
similar
if they
team.
play each other, they go game 7.
Yeah.
And whoever had the home
I
court probably
agree
would
that
win.
the only edge for me with both these teams is Greg Pop. That's really the only thing because he's got that years of experience and championship caliber mindset. So overall, they're both very close.
Well, let's look at their remaining schedule here.
But yeah, that's the biggest
The
thing.
Thunder, they play the Pistons on Friday at home. That's a win for the Thunder, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Yeah.
They're on the road against the Timberwolves Sunday. I'm not going to go too fast and say that's an easy win because we all know the Timberwolves play the Thunder very well. Let's not forget this. The Thunder
yeah.
play the Timberwolves very well. I mean, there's a couple matches that went to overtime. I remember the Andrew Wiggins half-court shot to win the game or whatever. They play each other very well.
Wild games.
So it's a trap game on Sunday.
Hmm.
I mean, you would expect the Thunder to win this game, but it's a trap game.
Yeah.
Then they at home against the Rockets, which obviously the Rockets are a good team. I mean, that's a game they could win at home, but the Rockets still are a good team.
They're
So that's a
phenomenal
50-50 game.
Mhm.
That's April 9th. Then they finish on the road against the Bucks, which obviously the Bucks are that good team, but the Bucks may be resting guys. They may be resting Giannis because they got that number 1 seed locked out.
Mhm.
So you just never know. Now we look at the Spurs.
Oh,
Their remaining schedule
have a much better
is
chance.
much easier.
much better
At the
chance.
Wizards, that should be a win. At the Cavs,
No doubt,
must be a win. The Cavs is 19-59.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
that
gotta win
should be
that.
a win. And versus the Mavericks at home, April 10th, that should be a win. So based on the schedule, I'll probably give the Thunder maybe 2 more losses,
Yeah.
and I'll give the Spurs the winning the rest.
Sweep.
So
I mean,
with that being said, I
true.
believe the Spurs will get that 7th seed. Based on how
Based off
this
the
schedule
schedule,
lines
yeah.
up. I'll give the Spurs the 7th seed, which means they will play Denver in the first round, which they lost to yesterday, but I still believe
Oh,
Denver doesn't have that playoff experience
when it's
yet.
playoff time, it's on, Leel.
Exactly.
So,
Denver doesn't have that playoff experience yet.
Yeah.
So that would be a good series, and that will leave the Thunder at the 8th seed
Mhm.
going against the Warriors. But who do you think, if they were to fall to the 8th seed, will give the Warriors the best chance, the best threat to the Warriors? The Spurs or the Thunder? Talk to me, Kenny C. Talk to me.
I'm probably going with the Thunder, Lil. The man who 3 straight seasons averaged triple-double. The man who's a beast at shooting and can get you in the paint in Paul George. Then you got the big man, Steve Adams, who's had an incredible season this year for them. And then you got Nerlens Noel off the bench. You got Schroeder off the bench.
Jeremy Grant.
Exactly. So I feel like they're a better team, maybe bench-wise, more than the Spurs are. And even though the Spurs got Greg Pop, I'm picking the Thunder. I'm picking the Thunder. They
I
got
know what you're
Aldridge
saying.
and DeRozan.
See,
But I would go with
Aldridge
the
is
Thunder,
that
bro.
guy, when he shows up, he makes the Spurs a very difficult team.
No, that's
to beat.
true.
That's when he shows up.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to be consistent.
And we all know DeRozan, obviously, he's a good talent. I believe he's going to amp it up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But another thing here to mention, with Russell Westbrook's crazy game that he had the other day. He said at the end he did it for Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
R.I.P. once again to that brother Nipsey Hussle.
Easy.
Rest easy, my guy. I definitely had a whole show dedicated to him on Monday.
Check that out.
On the Real Leel show, Mondays 8 to 10. But I agree with you. I think the Thunder poses the best threat to the Warriors, mainly because when it gets to the playoffs, it's about the talent. It's about the superstars.
Exactly.
And the Thunder have more superstars. PG-13, we know how he can be. Russell Westbrook, we know how he can be. If they can get it together and discredit that year ago when they lost to the Jazz in the first round, they can be able to make noise because they got the superstars.
I think they're
they have to match up. They have to match up. The Warriors got 5 All-Stars, basically. They have to match up superstar-wise. And I believe they do.
And the only problem is that everybody looks at is like, even when the Warriors starting 5 aren't on the court, their bench is still phenomenal. And that's the scary part. So, overall, Leel, I think we both agree.
I don't think the Warriors' bench is as... I'll make note of it. I don't think their bench is as good as this year.
Yeah.
This year as it was in the past.
No, the past was definitely scary.
So, you can definitely take advantage of them with the bench.
True.
And that's another thing that they will have to worry about, especially when they play teams like the Rockets. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see about that. But
that's true, but I mean, Iggy off the bench and they got Bogut back.
Iggy brings defense. Bogut obviously
he had
is
that
a good
championship
pickup,
experience.
but still as how the Warriors was before.
They have Livingston still.
They still have Livingston.
The bench.
So, but Livingston to me dropped off a little bit. His role diminished a little bit. So we'll see.
That's true.
And Iggy's getting older, obviously, but defensively we all know what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
He's going to have his here and there offensive games off the bench. So, I don't think it's not a bench that scares me, though.
The moral of the story for both of us is that we both unanimously picked that the Thunder are definitely a better team to match up against the Warriors over the Spurs. And that's not to say that the Spurs aren't a great team, but overall I feel like you said, if they sweep their remaining schedule and they beat them out or let's say they don't sweep and then they end up having to play the Warriors, I don't think they're better equipped than the Thunder are to beat the Warriors. So
we'll see. And when we come back from a very, very 3-minute in duration commercial break, we're gonna get into the AAF and a couple other topics that we have remaining in the show. We're in the huddle. Get in it. 607-753-4819. And when we come back in the next 3 minutes, we're going to get it on, and we're going to win the next play. Don't go nowhere.
Crank it up.
Musical stylings of
90.5, and we are live in the huddle. Time for the next topic.
Kenny C and Leel.
Real Leel on the track. Kenny C. We already know. We in the huddle. Ooh.
Yes, sir.
The AAF officially suspends operations. I mean, if you didn't see it coming,
what is going on?
If you ain't seen this coming, then you must have been under the paint against Andre Drummond. I just had to say something that rhymed. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I mean, they had financial issues. We seen it. They were in debt. We heard about the money issues. So I saw this coming along.
It's ridiculous.
It's been a mess.
The owner, Tom Dundon,
it's been a mess.
This man decides to shut down the league after he put $70 million into the league, and he left many players, staff, coaches, etc. in the dust as his decision literally came out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Some of the staff complained, like, I had no idea. Like, I'm packing my bags out of my office already. Like, what is happening? So, assistants, video training, PR, front office, all the other unnamed staff members literally stopped their own lives to give the AAF a shot under the premise that they thought, they would at least have a couple years of job security, and they're already done. They didn't even get to finish their inaugural season. Clearly, there wasn't enough financial support. The public, there's a lot of criticism by the public on how dangerous the league looked with all those hits to the head and stuff, and the lack of rules. And realistically, in the end, Leo, what really happened is that Dundon tried to push the NFL and the NFLPA, which is the Players Association, into getting more players for the league. He attempted to rush these talks in literally a matter of 2 weeks, and that's not how the NFL works. You can't rush an organization that's a powerhouse in this country into listening to what you want to say immediately. So basically, due to the lack of players coming into the league, this man literally rushed the league and decided to end it. So,
I mean, football, we all know football is a very expensive sport.
it's not a shock.
I mean, I even know in high school, you know, the reason why we didn't have a football team because of expensive, you know,
Exactly.
injuries, gear, equipment.
Yeah.
You know, it's very expensive to run a football league.
Facilities.
And if it's not properly handled and properly paid for, it's obviously going to face some issues. That's what
Yeah.
they were facing. That's why I kind of expected this. I didn't expect it at this time. This was kind of out the blue.
I know, it was.
But, you know, it sucks because it leaves a lot of players unemployed. What about these
Exactly.
players that, you know, they couldn't make it to the NFL? They got a second
Like
chance.
Trent Richardson.
Like Trent Richardson, you know, being able to provide
Johnny
for his
Manziel.
family. Johnny Manziel, you know.
Exactly.
Guys for, you know, second chance university. You know what I'm saying? Basically what it is. Second chance organization.
Mhm.
For guys to be able to employ their families, make a little, you know, a little money on the side,
Yeah.
and be able to play the game that they love. They can't do it no more. That sucks. That's like WSUC going off air tonight. And
That'd
then
be-
we out
that'd be
radio
crazy.
gigs. I would lose my mind.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I can understand how these players feel, especially when they add a different part of their career, because we can, you know, rebound from it. Obviously,
Yeah.
they get older in age.
That's their
you know what
life,
I'm saying?
man.
That's their life. That's how they provide for their family. That's
And
how
that's-
they put roofs over their head.
Exactly, and then that's what I was saying about the staff and the video production. All those guys that literally, whatever job they had, they were like, oh, like this is a new opportunity. I'll go to the AAF. They dropped everything they had, probably quit those jobs to work for the AAF, and now they're unemployed. So overall, Duncan owes a lot of people.
Unemployed, walking around like they pretty boy Floyd. That's basically what it is.
It's true.
But, you know, Johnny Manziel went on Twitter and said, if you are an AAF player and this league does dissolve, the last check you got will be the last one that you get. No lawsuit or anything else will get your bread. Save your money and keep your head up. It's the only choice at this point, unless something drastic happens.
That's a
Exactly. I mean, save your money.
fact. You got to keep moving.
You got to keep moving, and you got to save your money.
Mhm.
Also, it comes to financial, you know, advisement and management, which obviously we not in a position to tell because we have a
Yeah.
sports show. You could go, you know, find that out from a
Yeah.
tax person or something like that. You know, just how to save your money
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But that's something that they have to do, obviously. You know,
And-
go ahead.
Real quick, just in terms of the players, Leel, there is another alternative for most of the players that are probably younger and more talented, because it was recently reported that the first AAF player to get signed by an NFL team was cornerback Keith Reeser from the Orlando Apollos team. The Chiefs, Kansas City Chiefs, signed him $100,000 up front, $50,000 signing bonus, a $25,000 workout bonus, and a $25,000 roster bonus.
And that brings up the point that I just thought in my mind.
Mhm.
That's why when you do get an opportunity to play the sport that you love,
Mhm.
you must bring it every game because you
Exactly.
never know who's watching and when things could cut off and you get picked up, just like how that brother did.
Exactly.
That's why you bring it. You don't wait. You don't know. You don't. Oh, let me get my feet wet. You go out there and you play the game you love and you play hard because there's going to be people that's going to get opportunities because they show that they can still they still got it.
Mhm.
You know, maybe Trent Richardson might get a deal.
Yeah.
Who knows? He showed a lot.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
It could pay off.
But Johnny Manziel also went on to say, just the reality of this unfortunate situation, great concept, good football, you know,
Mhm.
so and so. So, obviously, Johnny Manziel is a new Malcolm X for the league. But, you know, at least the brother, you know, seemed to, because he still can't even get it together, too. That's another thing, you know. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, it's his Twitter and stuff, but obviously, you know, he still got to get it together, too.
Yeah.
Before he, and a guy who's, I mean, you ain't gonna tell me a guy on drugs ain't gonna give me no daggone advice. I'm not taking it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, hopefully Johnny Manziel gets another opportunity for himself.
Definitely.
Obviously, the XFL that comes into play, but just before that, you know, it was a great concept. You know, to start this league. You know, good
Oh, yeah.
football, a developmental league,
And
almost like a minor league.
a chance for people who
Chance
love
for fans.
football to watch it in
Exactly.
the off season of the
Just
NFL.
not enough money to go around, which has to be the
Poor
main
management.
problem.
That's really what it was as well. Poor management by Dundon. I feel like with $70 million, you might have had enough money, but he made the wrong moves. So
exactly, it sucks. It sucks for those players.
But it does say suspend operations, so maybe the league is not completely over.
I think it's over, but
yeah, it's most likely over. But there is maybe a slight shot.
But there is an XFL that's going to be launched. Obviously, this is Vince McMahon. He launched this a couple years ago. It didn't work well, but hopefully this XFL, which is going to be launched in 2020, it's imperative that they learn from the AAF mistakes and from their own mistakes from the past.
Exactly.
If they can do that, then hey, at least they have that. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of the XFL, since we talking the XFL and it's held by Vince McMahon, we're going to talk about Wrestlemania,
yes, sir.
which is this Sunday. I believe it's Wrestlemania 35. And, you know, Wrestlemania...
We're spicing it up for you guys.
You know, Wrestlemania is one of those Super Bowl... It has a Super Bowl feel for the wrestling fans. You know what I'm saying? It's the best year in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I don't watch wrestling anymore per se, but when it comes to WrestleMania, if they got a good card, I may watch it.
That's true.
You know? And you have some matches. Obviously, Roman Reigns, he's battling leukemia.
Yeah.
You know, my prayers and my thoughts go out to him. You know, to get over it and continue to fight it and spread the positivity for people that's going through the same thing, you know?
Exactly.
Because obviously, if he didn't get sick, he probably would have been on the main event card fighting for a belt. But, you know, obviously, life has other, you know, other paths for other people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. But this Sunday, for the first time in WrestleMania history, there will be a women's main event match for the belt. It's never happened in WrestleMania history.
Wow.
You know, women in wrestling always been that, you know, change the channel in the past for a lot of guys. You know, it's like, oh, wow, it's a woman now. Yeah. But they have the opportunity, and this is good. I'm happy. I believe that it's time to spread equality around, especially when you have an organization. You want to keep people happy. You want to spread that equality. So Ronda Rousey will put her Raw's Women title on the line against the 2019 Royal Rumble winner Charlotte Lynch and Becky Lynch, also in a triple threat. Oh, I'm bugging. One of them, Charlotte Lynch and Becky, in a triple threat match for the women's world title. So Ronda Rousey, obviously former MMA fighter.
Yeah, I mean,
she's doing pretty good.
It's great because not only does that put, you know, women on the spectrum of live sports, you know, across the country, but that also shows that in the WWE, women are getting closer to equality in terms of the value of these fights. Because if you're bringing them to a main event card like WrestleMania, a big event where everyone's watching, and you give them a shot at a belt, you know, it's interest to fans that are interested in who's gonna win this belt, you know. So it definitely brings a lot of positive publicity to the WWE.
And everything is an outlet for other people coming up. So with this main event, it opens the door for women. There's certain positions and jobs in society where women didn't have. It was always men. And then once the first woman was able to do it, it opened the door for other women. So that's basically what it is. But also, to be noted, the WWE Championship match includes Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston. Boop!
Wow.
Boop!
Kofi Kingston's a classic, too.
I mean, and this is good because that's another equality issue that wrestling has from my notice, is that there wasn't a lot of black people with belts as far as the top belts. The World Heavyweight, the WWE at WrestleMania on that stage. The one guy that we know of is The Rock. But The Rock is not fully black. He's half black,
Samoan,
he's half white, he's Samoan. I believe that, he's Samoan. So basically, you know, it's good to see another black person getting that opportunity. We already know Booker T had a title fight in WrestleMania 19 when he lost to Triple H. So it's good to see a guy like Kofi Kingston who's been in the league for a minute.
Yeah, a while. Since we were watching wrestling in his prime.
Exactly, in his prime days.
And with the prime, Liam, comes, if you had to pick one, what would be like one of your favorite moments from WrestleMania?
Man, it's a lot. WrestleMania back in the days, man. I would tell you this.
That was the childhood memories.
I would tell you this. My favorite wrestler ever is WrestleMania himself. I always look for him at WrestleManias, and that's the brother Shawn Michaels.
Yes, sir.
I mean, classic matches. Bret Hart.
The sweet chin music.
I remember the Bret Hart match, the Ric Flair match.
Yeah, that was one of the best.
What else? There's a lot. The triple threat match with him and Triple H versus Chris Benoit in Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 20.
Yeah.
Matches against Kurt Angle. I mean, I can go all
These are
against
like
the Undertaker.
legendary wrestlers too.
I mean,
you're never gonna get as good as the old wrestlers.
just everything about Shawn Michaels. The time in WrestleMania where he came from the top of the building, and he came through the thing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he just put on the show. He had the music, the sound, the song was good.
His
the
theme song
outfits.
was great, man.
He just brought everything. The sassiness, the charismaticness, everything. Just the athleticness. You know, Shawn Michaels is the GOAT.
Yeah, I definitely love Shawn Michaels as well. And when it came to DMX, like the tag team with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, I definitely was.
DMX.
I would definitely.
Where my dogs at?
Oh, my fault.
My son DMX. My dogs at?
Wrong tag team.
Wrong tag team.
DX, but
That would have been a good tag. That was a good tag team too. DMX and his dogs.
yeah, but
that was a good tag
I
team
definitely
right there.
I definitely liked Shawn Michaels over Triple H.
Oh yeah.
Back then, but one of my main one was Undertaker losing that 21-year streak when he lost to Brock Lesnar.
Who was fighting on
Yeah,
the card.
that man's still going.
Universal Championship against Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
It's talk that Brock Lesnar is going back to UFC very soon.
Yeah, I've heard about that too.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
WrestleMania is that time of the year, folks. You know, and I'm probably gonna watch a couple WrestleMania tapes before this one. You know, just to relive, how it was when you was a kid. I remember pay-per-view. Man, I ain't had no money back then, so I used to have this TV in the kitchen that had an antenna that used to play it, but I couldn't see it because it was blocked.
Yeah.
But I could hear it, and I used to just sit there and just listen to the whole 3-hour show, whether it was SummerSlam, WrestleMania, all that. I remember those days.
Die-hard
wrestling fan back in the day. For a child, where you know how childs, first of all, these people our age, that attention span is shorter than ever. People older than us in these generations, their attention span is short. So for me, a child to sit there for 3 hours listening,
dedicated to that.
Dedicated. But now
And
it's time to move on to
wrap up the show.
our final segments, which is the Real Leel Boxing and Kenny C's Hockey Talk.
Leel, since it's getting late, I'm going to keep this quick. But this is Kenny C's Huddle Hockey Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Great news for New York Islander fans. Since we in New York, the Sabres and the Rangers are already out. So don't blame me for being biased. I'm going to talk about the only team that's left in the playoffs, which is the New York Islanders, who beat the Buffalo Sabres on Saturday by a score of 5-1 to clinch a playoff berth. This was for the first time since about March of 1991, I believe. They were a wild card team 2 years ago, but it took them a while to clinch, and they definitely deserved it this season. For a team that was doubted from the get-go in September, no one thought they'd make the playoffs. It was thought that they had poor defense, no good goaltenders, and this season, the defense has been incredible under Barry Trotz. And the goaltenders, Robin Leonard and Thomas Greiss, have been two of the best goalies in the league in terms of tandems related to stats with goals against averages and save percentages. These guys have been phenomenal. And I read an article on the website Fansided and basically broke down like the three of the biggest things for the New York Islanders. I'm going to share one of them that I thought was very interesting, which was the power play for the New York Islanders, which as of late has improved. It has improved. While the stats may not show it, they were 2 for 9 in their past 11 power plays, which you're like, oh, that's not that good. But compared to before that, they were 0 for 37 on the power play. So that definitely shows more improvement as of late and in the biggest moments, because now we're getting into these playoffs. And the biggest thing with the power play is that they've been able to actually shoot the puck on net a lot more than they have in the past, because with most of their power plays, I know, countless games that I watched, they just pass the puck. It gets dumped out of the zone. They don't even take a shot on the net, and the power play is over. That hasn't been the case. Recently, they've gotten 1.91 shots more per opportunity in their past 3 games, compared to their 10 games prior, they averaged just 1.41 shots. So to get their power play going come this playoff race, that's going to be one of the biggest things, because you You get that man advantage in the playoffs, that's the biggest thing, hands down. You want to capitalize and try to score, and getting more shots in the net for the Islanders will definitely help them to do so. And before the games tonight, the New York Islanders are currently, I'm going to take a live look in right now at that game. Believe the game is still going on in overtime if it did not end already. And let me check really quick for you guys. The Islanders win in a shootout. So great news for the New York Islanders. They defeated the Florida Panthers in the shootout. However, in order to clinch the Metropolitan Division title, they needed the Capitals to lose tonight to Montreal, and they did not do so. So sadly for all of the Islander fans out there, Montreal got defeated by the Capitals, and the Capitals for the 4th time have clinched the Metropolitan Division title. And the Penguins and Hurricanes also clinched, along with the Dallas Stars as well recently. So in the terms of the Metro Division, that's multiple teams from the Metro that have clinched, 4 teams. And it's going to be a great playoff race. I'm very eager to watch. I'm a huge Islander fan, and I'm very excited for it. So that's all I have for today. Leel's going to wrap it up with the Real Leel Boxing.
And it's time for the Real Leel Boxing, ladies and gentlemen, for y'all boxing aficionados out here. And it's time to get into it. Manny Pacquiao versus Keith one-time Thurman is set. Well, it's not set yet, but there's talks and negotiations looking at a possible July 13th or July 20th bout. Now, Thurman has been linked to Pacquiao a lot. So has Eroll Spence Jr., so has Danny Garcia, and so has a rematch with Floyd Money Mayweather Part 2. Floyd Mayweather definitely visit the Philippines. That gives reason for speculation, but I just don't know with Floyd Mayweather. I think that he's very indecisive. He wants the money. He knows he wants the money. It doesn't faze me. I mean, he throws a lot of money to strippers. He's in strip clubs. I mean, he spends a lot of money. You know, he drinks $1 million iced teas. So it doesn't, you know, think that this brother may be going broke or something. So maybe he wants to fight, but he hasn't had really a great tune-up fight yet. So I don't know. But right now, Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman is in negotiations for a possible July 13th or July 20th. It's either between him or Danny Garcia. Both fights I like for Manny Pacquiao. I don't like the Eroll Spence fight. But I would rather see him fight Danny Garcia or Thurman. Danny Garcia obviously coming off 2 straight losses. I believe, well, I don't know if it's 2 straight losses. I know he lost to Keith Thurman, obviously in the split decision. I know he lost to Eroll Spence, not Eroll Spence, Sean Porter in the same fashion. Both of them was close fights, could have went either way. But, you know, Danny Garcia, Manny Pacquiao will be a good fight. Obviously, Danny Garcia got a fight coming up in a couple weeks, so he got to get prepared for that. But Keith Thurman, I believe that's the best fight for Manny Pacquiao at this point. I mean, Thurman obviously didn't look too good against Josito Lopez. He started the fight off good, but then he looked very rusty, obviously being out for the ring for 2 years. I mean, just styles, making fights. I just want to see this fight better. July 13th last year, I believe that's when Manny Pacquiao TKO'd Lucas Matisse in the 7th round and showed that Pacquiao had a little bit left. Didn't look too great against Broner, but Broner was running away the whole fight. So we'll see. Pacquiao got a little bit left in the tank. Thurman looked like he took a step back. So to me, it makes this fight a little bit more interesting, as we all know. So Manny Pacquiao versus Thurman is a possibility, ladies and gentlemen, for y'all boxing fans. So I want to see it. I want to see it. And if he fights Garcia, I won't be mad either. But Eroll Spence, no. I just don't want that fight for Pacquiao. Now we go with Sean Porter, who also, you know, who stated the other day that he's looking to fight Eroll Spence next. He said Eroll Spence is next. And there are talks that it's, you know, negotiations for September. A showdown bout between Showtime Porter versus Eroll Spence. Now, this is the fight that I want to see too. Obviously, we're not going to get the Eroll Spence and Terrence Crawford fight anytime soon. Obviously, 2 guys on 2 different sides of the spectrum. But if we can get this Sean Porter fight right now, to me, that's the best fight right now. Why? Because Sean Porter, when he is aggressive, when he brings that bull fighting, when he brings that bulldozer linebacker fighting to the match, it's very dangerous. Yes, it's ugly, but it works effective and it's dangerous. And I believe that's his best chance of even competing against Eroll Spence. If he fight the way how he fought you guys, it's not going to happen. All right? It's not going to be happen. It's not going to happen at all. So Sean Porter versus Eroll Spence, like I said, is in the work for September. Eroll Spence, in my opinion, is the best welterweight in the division. He showed it, taking Mikey Garcia to class and beating that you-know-what in the ring. I mean, just flat out shut him out. Like it was a daggone football game and the team got left on 0. All right? Eroll Spence is the best in the division. People argue Crawford. I think he's the second best, but yes, we got some fights coming up. Obviously, in the heavyweight division also. Fury today said that Wilder fight, the Wilder rematch is happening. We'll see. Obviously, I believe, Tyson Fury wanted that tune-up fight. He got hit to the ground. Even though I thought he won the fight, obviously he got hit with a hard jab that brought his head to the ground, that hit his head on the canvas. And I believe he was knocked out, but he woke back up and he felt the power. He wanted the tune-up fight, and that's why he took this little fight against some guy that we never even heard of before. I mean, I asked a lot of boxing aficionados, and they couldn't even tell me. So that's how you know. But he did confirm that this Wilder fight is coming up, and we'll see. It may happen in 2019. It may happen in 2020. Hopefully, with the rate this world going, we still here to see it. And Armageddon is not here, because this world is going crazy. But hopefully, we'll see it. As a boxing fan, I want to see it. All right? If there's an earthquake happening, I'm still going to be in my kitchen, la, 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 watching in my living room. HD TV. So once again, Manny Pacquiao versus Thurman is in talks for July 13 or July 20. Watch out for the Mayweather rematch too. Everything is not set in stone. And watch out for Sean Porter versus Eroll Spence coming up next, possibly. So as a boxing fan, you love it. We still got Anthony Joshua versus Jarrell Miller June 1st at the Garden. I'm still trying to get Jarrell Miller on my show, on my podcast version of the Real Leel Show through connects that he has with my brother. We'll see. But anyway, that wraps up another segment of the Real Leel Boxing. And you know what else?
Yes, sir.
It wraps up another show of In the Huddle. And we'll be back next week for some more In the Huddle news.
Ladies and gents, we hope it was a great show for all of you. Like
Thanks
I said,
for listening, those who listen.
rather slow week for sports, but me and Leel, we always make it happen.
We make it happen like
entertain.
Houdini. You know what I'm saying? We make the magic happen.
Thank you, Central New York. Thank you, live stream listeners. Leel, I think that wraps it up. The Undertaker's bell has been played.
Yes, sir. That's that sound, ladies and gentlemen. That's that sound. It's time for me to get up out of here.
The Huddle. You heard it here. Leel and Kenny C.
It's getting creepy. I feel it coming. You hear that? You hear that, Kenny C? That's the Undertaker.
All right, Leel. I think the Undertaker has tombstoned us. We're out of here.
We out of here, y'all. One love.